Omega Wolverine. Ever wonder what happens when the grumpiest Canadian mutant loses his absolute mind? Meet Logan from Earth 295, the alternate reality where Charles Xavier died way too early. Without Xavier around, Apocalypse took over everything like a total bully. Logan fought back as hard as a brave freedom fighter. During a brutal fight with Cyclops, Logan actually lost his left hand. However, things got way worse later on. The space gods called the Celestials showed up to judge the whole planet. They were ready to erase everyone instantly. Logan stepped up to save his world from total boom. He took a nasty cosmic item called the Celestial Death Seed. Sadly, this shiny space rock completely wiped out his good side. It turned him into Weapon Omega, the brand new heir of Apocalypse. Wearing his old enemy's big metal armor, Logan became the exact dictator he used to fight. He built a cruel empire right in the broken ruins of his world. Furthermore, he created a scary group of bad guys called the Black Legion. Weapon Omega started a giant global hunt to wipe out every single normal human. Next, he's used a magical life seed to bring back dead evil mutants. Plus, he started doing super gross science experiments on innocent people. His sweet old girlfriend Jean Grey tried to save him, but he totally kicked her to the curb. Eventually, his rules became so terrible that the main X-Force team from Earth 616 had to jump dimensions. They found their old buddy fueled by pure cosmic evil, rock-sharp adamantium claws, and infinite healing. Talk about a worst career pivot ever. Civil War Iron Man. What if your favorite tech billionaire became a total buzzkill overnight? Tony Stark from the main Earth 616 timeline went completely bad without any mind control or evil alien bugs. Instead, his crazy brain just overthought everything after a giant mess. A bunch of silly young heroes called the New Warriors fought the villain Nitro near a school in Sanford, Connecticut. The guy blew up and instantly killed 612 people. Public outrage exploded fast. People wanted all superheroes locked up. Tony used his supercomputer brain to calculate the future. He figured the government would hunt everyone down with giant robots if heroes did not sign up. So Iron Man became the big boss for the Superhuman Registration Act. He forced every hero to take off their masks and work for the government. Naturally, his best friend Captain America said no way to that deal. Tony turned super cold and hunted his old buddies like wild animals. In fact, he secretly stole a piece of Thor's hair years later. He used that hair to build a crazy robotic clone of Thor named Ragnarok. During a massive brawl, this fake Thor went nuts and blasted the hero Goliath straight through the chest. On top of that, Tony built a spooky prison called Prison 42 inside the weird negative zone dimension. He locked up his superhero pals without any court trial forever. Additionally, he hired actual supervillains called the Thunderbolts to act as his personal police squad. Good job ruining all your friendships for a government spreadsheet, Tony. Avengers Disassembled Scarlet Witch. How bad can a really bad day get when you could change reality with a snap? Wanda Maximoff was a classic hero for the Avengers on Earth 616 for a super long time. However, her mental state was always hanging by a single tiny thread. Years later, she used her magical chaos magic to make two cute twin boys named Billy and Tommy. Sad news dropped when those babies turned out to be gross pieces of the demon Mephisto. The demon took them back and the kids vanished completely. To save Wanda from dying of sadness, her magical teacher Agatha Harkness erased her memory. Everything seemed fine until the Wasp made a silly joke about kids during a pool day. Suddenly, all those buried memories hit Wanda like a giant truck. Grief completely broke her brain. She felt totally betrayed by her friends for hiding her real life. Therefore, her crazy chaos magic exploded everywhere. She planned a super sneaky attack against the Avengers Mansion. First, she brought back the dead hero Jack of Hearts as a walking bomb. He blew up on the front steps in killing Scott Lang, the second Ant-Man. Next, she took control of her ex-husband Vision and made him crash a jet into the building. A bunch of crazy Ultron robots jumped out of the jet. A confused She-Hulk got so mad that she ripped Vision in half. Finally, Wanda made a fake alien army attack New York City. Hawkeye died when his arrow bag caught fire during the chaotic fight. Nothing says Crazy X like blowing up the whole house. The Magus. Who knew the shiny gold space savior could turn into a total cosmic nightmare? Meet the Magus. the super dark future version of Adam Warlock from Earth 616. A group of scientists called the Enclave made Adam to be the most perfect guy ever. He even carried a shiny soul gem on his forehead to protect the galaxy. But perfection can flip upside down fast. A weird cosmic creature called the In-Betweener kidnapped Adam one day. He tossed Adam into a torture room for hundreds of years. This gross process split Adam into two parts, creating the evil Magus. This guy loved evil stuff. He traveled back in time to build a giant fanatical space church called the Universal Church of Truth. He made billions of weird aliens worship him like a god. Anyone who refused got instantly erased from existence. Magus kept messing with the timeline to make sure he would always be born. Adam freaked out knowing he was destined to turn into an evil space dictator. Later, during the infamous Infinity War story, Adam grabbed the Infinity Gauntlet. He tried to become super smart by dumping all his good and evil feelings into space. Bad idea? Absolutely. That dumped evil morphed back into the Magus again. This new version tried to take over the universe using scary monster clones of Earth's greatest heroes. He used fake faith and crazy cosmic powers to smash everything in sight. Guess being super pure just makes you a giant jerk in the future. Pimtron. Ever make a mistake so bad it literally fuses with your face forever? Dr. Hank Pym was a founding Avenger on Earth 616 who always felt super insecure about his hero status. He built a crazy robot named Ultron to help the world. Instead, the robot hated humanity instantly and became a massive headache for the team. Years later, in the story Avengers Rage of Ultron, things got totally weird. Ultron took over Saturn's moon Titan and turned it into a gross robot factory. The Avengers flew into space for a giant brawl to stop the mad machine. Hank tried to use a special device to turn his robot set off forever. Unfortunately, the fight got super messy and the device broke. The crazy accident caused Hank and Ultron to melt together at a tiny molecular level. Hank's real human body fused right into Ultron's indestructible metal frame. Yikes? Super yikes. This new monster named himself Pimtron. At first, he pretended that Hank was in full control of the body. He told the Avengers he was good now. That was a total fat lie. Ultron's evil brain was actually running the show the whole time. He just wore Hank's face like a mask to freak people out. What's worse, Pimtron used Hank's personal memories to emotionally hurt his old friends. He picked on Hank's old wife, Janet Van Dyne, and even made fun of Hank's bad history. Now that's one truly terrible way to solve father-son issues. Dark Phoenix. What happens when a nice telepathic girl absorbs the power of an exploding sun? Jean Grey was a founding member of the X-Men team on Earth 616. She was always super sweet, but her brain held high, crazy power. During a dangerous space mission, she used her powers to save her friends from a broken ship. A giant cosmic firebird called the Phoenix Force noticed her and bonded with her body. Everything was fine until a creepy guy named Mastermind showed up. He wanted to join a snobby bad guy club called the Hellfire Club. He used a special brain device made by Emma Frost to mess with Jean's head for months. He made her see crazy fake memories where she was an evil lady from the 1700s. This constant mind trick completely broke Jean's moral compass. The human part of her brain went fast asleep. Suddenly, the hungry Phoenix Force took over her body completely. Jean went totally nuts and beat up all her mutant best friends easily. Then she zoomed straight into outer space because she was super hungry for energy. She flew to the distant Dabari star system looking for a heavy snack. And a super mean move, she dove right into the local star and drank all its heat. The star turned into a giant supernova and blew up instantly. 5 billion innocent alien people died in 2 seconds. Talk about a hangry mood swing way too far. Dark Beast. What if a fluffy blue science nerd traded his moral code for scary tortures? Enter if Henry McCoy from Earth 295, Age of Apocalypse world, better known as the Dark Beast. Like we discussed earlier, in this dark timeline, Charles Xavier died early, so nobody taught Hank how to be nice. Without rules, Hank's love for science turned super evil fast. He became the chief mad scientist for Apocalypse, learning cool torture tricks from Mr. Sinister. Hank worked in gross genetic breeding pens every single day. He loved doing painful experiments on fellow mutants to build a mindless army of soldiers called Infinities. He even tested gross potions on his own body, which turned him into a scary dark ape monster. When his world started dying, Hank jumped into a magical crystal to escape. He landed on the main Earth 616 timeline 20 years in the past. He hid underground beneath New York City and messed with outcast mutant genes, creating the ugly Morlock community. Years later, he sneaked up on our good Hank McCoy and trapped him behind a brick wall. Dark Beast stole Hank's clothes and pretended to be the real X-Men member. Furthermore, he killed the real Hank's old friends just to keep his secret safe. Proof that a giant blue fur does not always mean you get a friendly monster. Dark Phoenix Cyclops. Ever wonder what happens when the most rigid superhero leader loses his absolute mind? Scott Summers was always the super serious tactical boss of the X-Men team on Earth 616. He spent years following Charles Xavier's peaceful dream like a good student. However, the mutant population dropped to almost zero overnight after M-Day. Scott got totally depressed for a miracle. During the big Avengers vs. X-Men event, the Cosmic Phoenix Force started zooming straight towards Earth. Scott thought this giant firebird would fix everything for mutants. Unsurprisingly, the Avengers freaked out and tried to block the giant bird. During a wild space fight on the moon, Iron Man shot a special science gun at the entity. That blast split the cosmic fire into 5 separate pieces. Those pieces jumped right inside Scott, Emma Frost, Magic, Colossus, and Namor. At first, this new group used god powers to stop all world wars and feed people. Pretty nice? Sure. But the fire entity slowly poisoned their brains. Soon, the Avengers defeated their hosts one by one. Their leftover powers kept sliding directly into Scott and Emma. Eventually, only those two remained on the field. Scott wanted all the power for himself, so he attacked Emma and forcefully stole her cosmic fire. Transforming into the dark entity, Scott completely lost his chill. What's worse, he actually murdered his old teacher Charles Xavier during a massive brain fight. Next, he blasted waves of space fire all over the planet like a final boss in a video game. Finally, a huge coalition of heroes beat him up. Nothing says great leadership like turning into a cosmic fire monster and frying your own sweet high school teacher on live global cable television. Hydra Captain America. What if America's most wholesome hero woke up worshipping absolute bad guys? Steve Rogers from Earth 616 was always considered the purest guy in comic books. However, his darkest chapter did not come from mind control or scary ghost possession. Instead, his entire reality got completely remade by a magic child. During the standoff event, a sentient cosmic cube named Kobik took the physical form of a young girl. The evil villain Red Skull noticed this powerful kid and tricked her. He taught her that the fascist group Hydra was actually the best organization ever. Later, Steve got his super soldier power drained and almost died of old age. Kobik stepped in to fix him and restore his youth. But thanks to Red Skull's bad advice, she also rewrote Steve's entire personal history from scratch. In this fake timeline, a woman named Elise Adler recruited young Steve into Hydra back in the 1920s. He took secret bad guy training classes every single weekend. Steve grew up as a secret bad guy hiding in plain sight. What makes it even crazier, he acted like a loyal superhero boss while secretly planning a huge takeover. During the big Secret Empire storyline, Steve finally dropped his friendly mask and attacked. He trapped all the powerful heroes, locked down the whole country, and put a giant force field around Earth. Furthermore, he crowned himself Supreme Hydra and ruled America with an iron fist. Not to mention, he made everyone wear ugly green outfits to match his dark vibes. He even carried an evil Hydra shield to intimidate his old pals. Turns out giving a magic, cosmic child terrible history lessons is a fast way to ruin world peace. The Maker. Can a simple bad breakup turn a super smart teenage genius into a scary multiversal threat? Young Reed Richards from Earth 1610 turned out as a hopeful brainiac leading the Fantastic Four. Sadly, his life crashed into a giant wall during the brutal Ultimatum event. Magneto caused a gigantic flood that killed millions of people, including Reed's best friends. The awful tragedy broke Reed's heart. Seeking comfort, Reed proposed marriage to his girlfriend, Susan Storm. Susan turned him down hard because he acted like an unemotional robot. Talk about harsh. To make matters worse, an explosion blew up his childhood home, seemingly killing his entire family. These terrible events completely ruined Reed, dropping his old identity and renaming himself the Maker. He stretched his own brain and made his physical skull bigger to become super smart. In addition, he wore a weird helmet to hide his giant head. Next, he built a futuristic dome called the City and created post-human minions called the Children of Tomorrow. What's worse, he wiped out all of Asgard and killed the Norse gods just to steal their magic power. He traveled across different universes to cause endless trouble for other heroes. Furthermore, he believed normal humans were basically ants under his massive scientific boots. He turned into a stone-cold villain who believed killing millions was totally okay for logic. His old teammates were completely horrified when they saw what he became. He even started cloning himself dozens of times so he could do twice as much cosmic evil research every day. Turns out getting dumped really can mess with your mental health forever. Onslaught. Imagine taking the absolute worst brain traits of two famous mutant leaders and smashing them together like a bad smoothie. Earth 616 was not ready for Onslaught. This giant monster was born during the Fatal Attraction storyline. Magneto did something super mean and ripped all the adamantium's metal straight out of Wolverine's bones. Professor Charles Xavier got so mad that he lost his temper completely. Xavier used his telepathy to wipe Magneto's mind, turning his old friend into a vegetable. However, Magneto's dark thoughts jumped into Xavier's mind during the psychic brain attack. Over time, that dark energy mixed with Xavier's own secret anger. What makes it even crazier, Xavier was secretly hiding frustration about mutant hate and a secret crush on Jean Grey. All that emotional junk fused together to create a giant living psychic entity named Onslaught. Onslaught hid inside Xavier's head for months, while getting super strong. When he finally burst into the physical world, he looked like a giant red armor monster. He easily crushed the X-Men in battle. Next, he hijacked giant Sentinel robots to lock down New York City under brutal military rule. Furthermore, he planned to wipe out every single normal human on Earth. In fact, his psionic energy shield was so ridiculously thick that normal laser guns could not even scratch the surface. He completely embarrassed Earth's defenders for weeks. The Avengers and the Fantastic Four had to jump straight into his body to destroy him, sacrificing their lives in the process. Combining your worst feelings with your enemy's darkest thoughts is definitely a terrible career choice. Maestro. Who knew radioactive fallout could transform a big green rage monster into an evil dictator king? The Maestro comes from Earth 9200, an alternate timeline where humanity blew itself up in a nuclear war. The massive radiation killed almost every single superhero and normal human instantly, but Bruce Banner was totally different. His body drank all that nuclear radiation like a giant protein shake. The radiation made the Hulk way stronger than ever before, while also keeping Bruce Banner's genius brain completely wide awake. Sounds like a sweet deal? Think again. Watching the world burn completely ruined Bruce's mental sanity. He snapped, lost his historic heart, and took the name Maestro. Next, he built a cruel dystopian kingdom named Dystopia in the radioactive ruins. He ruled as a scary king with zero mercy. To keep his throne safe, Maestro hunted down every surviving hero and villain from the war. What's worse, he killed them all and stole their famous gear. He built a giant trophy vault filled with Captain America's broken shield, Wolverine's skull, and Iron Man's old helmets. What makes it even crazier, he sat on his throne surrounded by these stolen trophies while laughing at human weakness. Additionally, he regularly made his terrified subjects build giant super statues of his green face all across the wasteland. Nobody dared to complain because he could smash a huge mountain with one single angry fist. He turned his incredible strength and super smart brain into tools for pure evil. He even grew out a long white beard to make sure everyone knew he was the big boss now. Turns out, giving the Hulk a giant brain and infinite nuclear power just creates the ultimate wasteland bully. Malice. How does a sweet superhero mom turn into a terrifying spiked villain in 5 minutes flat? Susan Storm from Earth 616 was always the nice heart of the Fantastic Four. However, a creepy bad guy named Psycho Man decided to ruin her whole life. Psycho Man hated her team and wanted sweet revenge. He targeted Susan's brain using special machines that mess with human emotions. The tech dug deeper into her mind and amplified her secret anger, hidden stress, and small resentments. The awful torture completely broke Susan's normal personality. A cruel new persona named Malice took over her brain. Wearing a black outfit covered in sharp spikes, Malice turned super evil instantly. She completely abandoned her family and used her invisible force fields to attack her best friends. What's worse, she used invisible shields to choke her teammates and crush their internal organs without blinking. Furthermore, her invisible weapons were so sharp that she almost cut through steel doors without breaking a sweat. She walked around like a mean supermodel, commanding everyone like trash. Her dark costume looked like a heavy metal band album cover from the 80s. She even attacked her husband, Reed Richards, causing him intense physical and mental pain. She laughed while destroying her old happy family dynamic. Eventually, Reed figured out how to save her. He intentionally annoyed Susan so much that her real uncontrollable anger short-circuited Psycho Man's brain machine. The machine broke and Susan shattered the evil Malice persona to regain control of her mind. Not to mention, she immediately beat up Psycho Man for messing with her brain. Turns out, pissing off an invisible mom is the worst mistake a cosmic supervillain can ever possibly make in the entire universe. Shadowland Daredevil. What if a blind street hero joined the ancient ninja cult he fought his whole life? Matt Murdock was the hero devil of Earth 616, protecting Hell's Kitchen every night. When the evil ninja group called The Hand lost their leaders, they asked Matt to become their new boss. Matt thought it was super smart. He believed he could change the bad ninjas into good guys from the inside. Fatal mistake? Absolutely. The dark magic inside the Hand started rotting Matt's brain. On top of that, a gross demon named the Beast of the Hand took over his mind completely. The demon fed on Matt's hidden darkness and made him act like a cruel dictator. Matt built a massive dark castle named Shadowland right in the middle of New York City. Additionally, Matt started wearing a creepy black outfit instead of his classic red suit. He placed the whole neighborhood under strict military rule, sending ninja goons to beat up anyone breaking small rules. He constantly growled at his friends and threw sharp ninja stars. The absolute worst part happened when his rival Bullseye challenged him. Instead of handing Bullseye to the police, Matt stabbed him straight through the heart with a psi weapon in cold blood. His superhero friends Spider-Man and Luke Cage were shocked by this brutal move. They teamed up to storm the Shadowland Fortress and save the city. Eventually, Iron Fist had to use his magical glowing chi power to blast the evil demon out of Matt's body. His overall legal reputation was completely ruined in the process. Turns out taking a job as the king of bad ninjas is not a great career promotion for a silly blind lawyer. Well, that's it for this one. If you liked the video, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and ring the bell so you never miss a drop. Craving more stories from comics, movies, and beyond? Check out this video right here. Cheers, and see you in the next one.